Hello.
Hello.
Good
Hello.
evening. Good evening.
Good
My name
evening.
is
Hello.
Manzar, and with two other guests here we have Bathsheba monk, an author and publisher, and Usrzula Abolik, a dance teacher and a spiritual guidance. Today, I would like to give a little introduction, as usual. This program and the purpose of it is to bring us together as in communities and nations and celebrate life. Today is actually the second day of the spring, which a lot of people around the world celebrate the first day of the spring. So I hope these days or this spring is a beginning of uh, to look out for other possibilities, to bring us together, create some peace within our hearts and mind. So as I mentioned, we have Urszula Abolik as a guest tonight with us, and we're going to start a conversation. She can tell us more about what she's doing. Bathsheba, you may start, please.
Okay, well, I'd like to ask Ursula about the
Yes.
tango, which I've seen you do live tango sessions on Facebook. So I want to know how you got into that because I love dance and it looks like fun.
Oh, then you will have not enough time. If you just start with tango, then we'll never stop. Yes. Dancing is absolutely a joy of my life. No matter what you do, you always find time, couple times a week, for dancing. And normally before this year, we dance at least 4 times a week. And New York, Philadelphia, around the world. And in tango, people from all different cultures come to the dance. So there is a never moment that like people from the same country, from the same city. No, we dance. It's a very international hobby, and practice. And almost like a meditation, Zen, because we do not talk when we dance tango. Sometimes we dance for 6-7 hours straight, and we barely talk.
What? 6 or 7 hours?
Yes. Our all night milongas were from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. in New York, sometimes longer.
You take breaks, of course, right?
Yeah, we take little breaks, but we sit down and we watch. There is not too much talking. And we don't drink alcohol when we dance tango. We just are super connected, heart to heart, in this beautiful embrace. And in this crazy world, when we run, work, when you come to this embrace and you hear each other heartbeat, and you don't know that person most of the time, because we dance with our partners maybe once, twice per evening, and you dance with everybody else. And just that heart and heart connection, I would never change it for anything else.
Is American tango different than like Argentine tango, or I mean, does everybody dance it the same way?
No, we dance Argentinian tango, and you go to Istanbul, to Warsaw, Poland, or Paris, or Buenos Aires, we dance in the same way. There is only like differences, like stage tango, when people perform on the stage, then they, add little acrobatic to it. But no, we dance everywhere in the same way. In America, we are, now nobody's touching anyone because of the year 2020. But normally in America, there is a difference because we are very afraid to touch each other close. We are not kissing society. If you go to Cuba, you have to kiss everybody around the table. Even if it's 20 people, you come to the party, you have to kiss everyone. In America, we are more distant. So people, when they come to tango community, they have to learn how to be open. We kiss each other, in tango community, we hug each other close. So there is many things to get rid of and be open to more. Yes. We are
Yes,
more distant.
speaking of touching, here, of course, you have to have like a license to touch someone. And some cultures, like, no, really, sometimes, I mean, we do know there are cultures around the world that they actually, when they talk, they touch each other. They say, I went yesterday, so and so and so. They all touch each other's hands or bodies. So that is I think it's so, I don't know what is the word, but it's just there is some trust among people that they do those things. I mean, if you don't, it's sometimes they say, "Well, she's so
Even
dry," or "He's so
sometimes,
dry."
like, I see men. Yeah, sometimes I
Yes.
see in Cuba men hugging, kissing, like
Mm-hmm.
together, like in this close embrace. Even now, I was there in January. Everybody's wearing masks and they are still walking together in this close embrace. Yeah, we are like disconnected a little bit, but it's okay. We're working on it to connect again to each other, to be
Yeah, create
closer
peace.
to each
And
other.
there is another dance that
Definitely
I know
through
is another
that.
dance that actually you go around and they really do touch each other. Touch with hand or look at each other's face, pay attention to the eye expression of your partner, or is just moving around. And that's one thing that I have been teaching through this, what I call
Oh,
teaching your heart with arts. So, which is variety of ways to connect us to oneself and others. So through certain, hands or holding each other, touching each other's palms, and look at each other's face, look at each other's eye expression. In some of my teaching, actually, people start crying. They look at each other's face, and then of course I give them the art session, and they create whatever that they feel. They express themselves through images. So these are essential to our well-being, and I hope at some point more tax money goes toward art and music and healing arts in general.
Mm-hmm. So, Ursula, tell us
in the
about. I'm, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
in the spiritual practice that I teach sometimes, in the shamanic practices that I teach sometimes, we practice the eye gazing, like you mentioned
Yes.
Oh.
that you were teaching like that. So it's just like a little practice. You sit next to each other, like touching maybe knees in this crisscross position, and you just look at each other's eyes for like 2-3 minutes. It's a long time, when we
Yes.
It
don't do
is.
it at all. We don't look at each other's eyes in subways, in
Mm-hmm.
the grocery store. So when you sit like that with a person, first it's like really strange, and then you relax into it, and you see like all the history, all the future, all the past, all now, like incredible experience. And people also start crying after that, because like memories from the childhood come back, like nice people who died come back to it, like beautiful practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just to sort of express themselves, and they sort of get rid of those memories or whatever and allow it out, expressing it out, either through dancing. We have certain dance within the communities overseas when when someone pass away in a family. It's a special dance actually they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yes, a special dance and singing at the same time. The
Mm.
group, like the family dances, or they invite these special group for those times of grieving. So they come and they do those singing and dancing. And plus, of course, one thing that is so helpful to release this. after we do in my practice, in my teaching, after they have done a little bit expression in that way, then we have approaches and a specific practices to make them more present, more now, here, so they don't go back to their memories. So we make the memories less and less and bring in more of the presence and what is happening right now in front of your eyes, right here, to feel here the surrounding and see what is happening. So to sort of make us more present. That's as simple as I can say it.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful practice, yes.
Yes.
I do similar things with my yoga practice, like bringing like lavender for a moment, just like we are here right now, smelling this lavender.
Mhm.
Or it can be
Yes.
anything, touching the snow. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get into shamanista practice, Ursula? Or I mean, I don't really know much about it. So how did maybe you want to explain it to people
To the
and how you got into it?
spiritual. I actually remember exact day and exact event. My life kind of like flipped over 10 years ago when there was like, I was reading a book about Dalai Lama, and he was coming here to Lehigh University, and they announced that there is no tickets available. Sorry about that, sold out. So I called, I got a ticket, to this events, to like learning the meditation and Dalai Lama at Lehigh University. And the coincidence was his book was like on my front seat in the car, and I got my ticket between like 400 Tibetan monks, and I was so happy. Like they were just all around me, and they were like counting those praying beats, and wherever I looked, like behind, to the side, they had this smile like I will never forget. And after the lectures, I got the Tibetan praying bracelet, and I started using like they were using. I had no clue what it means. I just started practicing, and everything. I don't know what happened, during this event, but they gave me something, and all of the sudden, like yoga came to me, meditation came to me, shamanic practices were coming to me. I totally changed my life. Everything was changed. Like I think it was just like a one big push, in my life.
Huh.
I was going through divorce at the time, and then everything turned like into really like beautiful things after that. I think I started to be open, uh, to more things in life. Yes.
Uh-huh. And so now do you teach? Did I see that you have a shamanistic school that you're teaching?
Yes.
Oh.
No, we do teach like through different workshops, like internet platform. Mostly just workshop in the woods. Yes, that
Mhm.
me and my partner Barnaby, we teaching sometimes together, sometimes separate. Yes, people come
Mhm.
and reconnect with the nature, and I do teach how to make your own drum. Drum has this specific sound that can bring you, to your roots, to the base
Yeah.
of the earth.
Very-
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I do also. We have a school with my friends that we formed 6 years ago. It's called Antinanko. Really doesn't mean anything. It just came into a dream, but we always are laughing. Like the purpose of that school is to throw people to the woods.
Mm,
You can be two or
we need that. Yes.
you can be 2 or 92. So our school is for everybody, because the main goal was to open the school for like lost children, who don't like meditation. But then we got response. Parents need help too. So we have little
Yes.
kids, 80 years old grandmothers. Now we're gonna have like a women retreat in 5 weeks in the woods for 3 days. When we make fire, we bake bread in the ground. We created many like clay ovens in last year.
Mm-hmm.
Mixing the clay with bare legs, bare feet. We walk barefoot in the woods. So the workshop has really very simple program. Sometimes we send people on the top of the mountain just to stay quiet for 3 hours. So they get directions. Do not bring your iPad, music, books, pens, nothing, zero. Make a circle around yourself and just stay in that circle for 2 or 3 hours and see what happens. And ooh, many changes.
Wow.
And they don't do nothing.
Wow.
They start observing the world, the ants, the flies, the sounds. They hug a
Yeah.
tree.
And how often do you do those walking in the nature?
Usually
Like
like once a month, because we just
once a
had
month?
this weekend. We will have two next month, and they're like small events now this year. So we have like 10 people. Two next month, so usually like once a month.
And it's what, just whole
Yes,
weekend,
where and
2 days?
sometimes, yeah, all weekend. Yes, so people have experience with like making the fire. Sometimes there is a sweat lodge, like Native American sweat lodge involved. Sometimes, when we have younger generations, sometimes, they come from New York, like, oh, I don't want to go to the city farm in Pennsylvania. They tell parents, because the parents tell them there's no internet there. And they just come in, they're like not sure for 1 hour, and then the parents cannot take them back to the city.
That's beautiful.
Sometimes it's a
That's
rough
very
I
start.
good.
believe that. Yes.
I think
Bathsheba, we should join her one day,
let's
one
do that.
weekend.
Let's do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Although I
That's
have been
great.
down to that farm once, Ursula,
But
and I think the road is very rocky. You have to have purpose. You
you
have to
can
have big
car, you have
purpose.
to walk half a
Yes.
mile.
Right.
But
So
it's good.
do you do your
You'll
artwork down
survive.
there too at the farm? Do you do your artwork down
Oh
there?
yes,
Yes.
Hmm.
many art projects happening there, also in New York too. And we just opened the gallery 2 years ago in New York City, so people of different ages can show there. Yeah, it's a very nice location, so it's good. But art is
Mm.
definitely happening at the farm. Yes, I
Hmm.
don't paint. I paint clothes, so I'm not a painter. I live with two painters. That's enough.
Yeah, see, one thing is about paint. A lot of people think when we say painting, you have to create a masterpiece or they have to learn to paint a special way. Not at all. See, when you look at it therapeutically, it can be anything. It can be anything. So you just, what you do,
Anything.
provide the materials
Right.
and let them express
Yes.
themselves. They may want to pour, they want to use their hand, they want to blow on it, they want to, spray, whatever. It's just self expression again to bring themselves, to bring them in the
Yeah.
presence. So that is,
Yeah.
and the same thing with other kinds of arts.
Yeah.
The purpose of it is the process of creating and creation, not the results.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I find that too when I work with
And yeah.
people that are writing and they're doing their memoirs, that very
Mhm.
often just the fact of going back into their lives and thinking about it and maybe recasting it in a way that's not more favorable, but in a way that's not so horrible makes a big
Yes,
difference in their outlook. And so that's very healing, I find, with
yes,
people. I imagine art would too.
yes. One thing about art is that sort of separates you from your conceptual and your verbal communication. So a lot of people actually cannot express themselves in words, but
Hmm.
their images or forms they do. That's why dancing is one of the best kind. And you don't have to dance specifically any like tango or I don't know, whatever, or Persian or whatever. So you just dance, you just movement, you hear the music, or even without the music. It's like a kind of a yoga. Actually, when we look at human behavior through expressing their inner emotion, we have seen variety of ways of body language and body movement through the centuries that has started with like yoga and continue to the present time that we have dance, we have acrobatic movements, we have these gymnastics, and we have all of those varieties. So to bring in the body, the fact that we forget about our bodies, and we have a distance, we are distance from our physical body and sensory faculties. And so is to bring us back there, to feel whole, so to feel unified. That's what this yoga is all about, to bring your body, your mind and spirit and presence, they all, then you feel sort of, you feel really you are there. And is, I mean, we can't bring it, I cannot bring it to words, but it's just that unifying self that you reach at. That's what Urszula is
So
doing.
because we forgot about our body, I created 8 years ago a naked calendar. You know, a little shocking in our small community here, but I bring photographers from around the world. This year was our beautiful Lydia Panash, photographer. And it's just the idea that we did forget about the bodies, and to be naked in the nature, it's not a big deal, you know, and our bodies are beautiful no matter what age, what size. Yes. So it's an art project, and I'm doing it for 8 years now. Yes. Every year, normal people, regular people from our communities or guests. So it's a beautiful art project. Yes.
I saw this one this year. Somebody gave it to me for a present. It's beautiful. I have to say, Rassouli. I would show it, but I'm not sure they would throw us off if I showed it.
Yeah.
No, Lydia did an amazing job.
Yeah, those are sort of special setting, as Urszula just mentioned, which, I remember at the gallery even we couldn't have the nude, So there are certain sort of restrictions about any, variety of teaching and so
The
forth.
social media were good for us for 8 years, and even Morning Call 8 years ago. It was a mother with the breastfeeding child. That's how it started, breastfeeding mother, and they did copy the photo, of course, like little colors, but Morning Call did it on the front page, so it was beautiful. Yes. So we're showing it all over.
So I want to know, Urszula, I want to know about this project you were talking about with children and art. We were talking about that before we went live.
Yes, at Antinanco school. Yes, it started like, okay, we're gonna do art projects in the woods, but of course it grew bigger. You know, it never is like you plan. The plan goes somewhere else, and now my school is helping Native Americans. There's like many shipments, packages, water barrels, going to Dakota, Nevada, Arizona. But we did also projects like, for example, we raised money to bring young Cubans to Poland 2 summers ago. Cuban people cannot really travel anywhere. It's impossible with their little salaries and no lack of visas. So we raised money. My person that I know gave them visas. And, we took them for 3 weeks to Europe. For the first time they left the country, and they brought so much experience, and they want to change their country. So it was good, successful.
I always thought that one of the things about school is that you shouldn't graduate until you spent a year traveling someplace
Exactly.
else outside of the
Exactly.
country.
Exactly. I
Absolutely.
always, mhm.
The world
Yes,
is
go
really
ahead,
beautiful.
Urszula.
So our idea also of that school that we have, it's like to take young people, like, I'm talking about high schoolers, because it's very hard to travel, with younger kids. But the high schoolers, they have a permit from the parents, and parents are welcome to travel with us. So we went to Japan a summer
Wow.
before. So we had a huge group in Japan, and clash of the cultures, and the kids are learning from each other. Kids in Japan, they have clean their school, they have to mop the floors every day, they have to serve lunches, and our kids were like, what are they doing? But after a couple days, they're mopping the floors
Wow.
with them.
Wow. That's
So it's
Wow.
really good educational. And when we
wow.
when
That's
we brought when we brought American kids and Cuban kids to Poland, we were learning so much from them, because
Mm.
some children didn't speak English, and they were using like special iPad, systems, translators. And one day the teachers were sitting like next door, the kids were like talking together, and we started laughing as teachers, like, wow, how much patience they have. They were repeating the same sentences in English over and over and over till the child understands it, They were teaching each other the
That's so
languages,
interesting.
Spanish, Polish, and English, yes. And it was beautiful, like how much patience they
Wow.
have. And they keep in touch. All those trips, they keep in touch till
wow.
now. So
That's
beautiful connection.
beautiful. That's
Yes,
definitely most effective in youngster's life and most
the one that I will
educational.
never forget. Yes, the one that I will never forget. American kids. We went to Cuba, and the children had to work at the farms, like
Hmm.
Cuban farms with the soil, 4 hours a day. Like
Wow.
really hard work. Oh, they were, and they were so happy, so happy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful research actually to do. And then later on to,
yeah,
and see the effect and the how it affected their life, daily life and all of that. That's great. We could learn all of that and just sort of expand it
yeah.
on a more level, a higher level to educate our youngsters. I see we have like about a couple of minutes here
Yeah, just 2.
and 2 minutes and
Oh,
Went
and
fast, Ursula.
yeah, this is great information that you provide us here, Ursula,
thank
and I hope we have you again on one of other segments in the future. But next week, I would like you to listen to this artist, also a teacher, art therapist. Um, um, she's French American. Her name is. Noel Imparado. So I
Mhm.
hope you joining us and everybody out there, the viewers.
Thank
And
you,
I want to,
Ursula, so much.
yes, I
you
thank you,
so much.
Ursula.
Yeah,
Okay, see
thank
you.
you
And
so much.
thank you.
My pleasure.
Good night.